Welcome to Story Orchard, where every tale grows into something unforgettable and every word helps you grow your English. Before we dive into today's story, tell me, do you enjoy listening with a cup of coffee or is tea your thing? Here, we don't just tell stories. We help you discover new words, improve your English, and take you right inside the world of the story. So get comfortable, relax, and let's begin today's journey together. The classroom was noisy, but the moment the teacher walked in, silence filled the room. Mr. Blake was not just any teacher. He was the kind of man whose presence made you want to listen. Have you ever met someone who could make you think about life in just a few words? That day, Mr. Blake carried something unusual into the room. It wasn't a book, it wasn't papers. It was a large, empty glass jar. The students exchanged curious glances. Why would a teacher bring a jar to class? Mr. Blake placed the jar on the desk and looked around. This jar, he began slowly, represents your life. Have you ever thought about your life as a container? One that you have to fill carefully? He then pulled out a bag of large stones and started placing them in the jar. One by one, the stones dropped inside with a solid thunk. When the jar looked full, he asked the class, "Is the jar full?" The students nodded. "Yes, sir," they said confidently. Mr. Blake smiled. Without saying a word, he reached under the desk and brought out a bag of small pebbles. He poured them into the jar, and the pebbles rolled into the spaces between the stones. Is it full now?" he asked again. Some students hesitated this time, but most still said, "Yes." Have you ever been so sure about something, only to realize there was still more room? Mr. Blake chuckled and pulled out a bag of sand. He poured it into the jar, and the fine grains slipped easily between the stones and pebbles. Now the jar looked completely packed. "Surely it's full now?" he asked. Everyone laughed and shouted, "Yes." But Mr. Blake wasn't done yet. He reached for a cup of coffee sitting on his desk and slowly poured it into the jar. The coffee soaked into the sand without spilling over. Can you believe that? Even when you think there's no space left, there's always room for something. Small but important. Mr. Blake looked at the jar and then at his students. This jar represents your life. The big stones are the most important things: your family, your health, your dreams, your values. He pointed to the pebbles. These are the smaller things: your job, your house, your responsibilities. Then he touched the sand. And this is the little stuff. Social media, arguments, distractions. Have you ever spent so much time on the little stuff that you forgot the big things? If you put the sand in first, Mr. Blake continued, there won't be any room for the big stones. But if you put the big stones in first, you can fit everything else around them. The class was silent. Every student was thinking about their own life. What would your big stones be? One student raised her hand. "Sir, what about the coffee?" she asked, smiling. Mr. Blake grinned. "I'm glad you asked. No matter how full your life seems, there's always room for a cup of coffee with a friend." The room filled with laughter. But inside, everyone knew this was more than just a joke. Sometimes the smallest moments of connection are the ones that make life truly full. Wouldn't you agree? After class, a boy named Daniel stayed behind. He had been quiet the entire time, but now he walked up to the desk. "Mr. Blake, I think my jar is already full of sand," he said softly. Have you ever felt like your life is too full of the wrong things? Mr. Blake looked at him kindly. Then start emptying it. Take out the things that don't matter and make space for the ones that do. Daniel nodded, but the thought stayed with him all day. That evening, Daniel sat in his room, thinking about his own jar. It was filled with video games, endless scrolling on his phone, and late nights doing nothing productive. Where was the time? For his parents, for his dream of becoming a musician, for his health. Have you ever realized too late that your time is going to the wrong places? Daniel decided to change. One by one, he replaced his sand with big stones, time with family, practicing, guitar, eating better. It wasn't easy. Some days the sand tried to creep back in, but Daniel remembered the jar, and slowly, his life began to feel lighter, happier, and more meaningful. A few weeks later, Daniel walked into class with a smile. "Sir, I think my jar looks different." "No," he said. Mr. Blake smiled back. "Then you've learned the most important lesson. Life is about choosing what to put in first. And here's the truth. We all have a jar. We all decide every day what to put in it. Now it's your turn. Which new words did you learn today? And how did the story make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. And tell me, where in the world are you listening to Story Orchard from? I love reading all your messages. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new, make sure to subscribe to Story Orchard, because every day a new tale and new words are waiting for you. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and keep imagining.